Welcome to the Get Fit Guys quick and dirty tips to slim down and shape up. My name is Ben Greenfield and I'm the Get Fit Guy. Now, you're no doubt horribly familiar with the scary holiday sounds of colds and flus, from sniffles to snots to cough, hack, cough. But just like you can make your muscles stronger, your lungs more fit, and your bones more dense, you can also strengthen your immune system to fight off these phlegmy intruders and maintain your health year-round. And in this episode, you're going to get 5 quick and dirty tips to do just that. So before we delve into the steps you can take to improve your immune system, let's review what exactly the immune system is. At its most basic, your immune system is a system of biological structures and processes that protect you against disease. More specifically, your immune system is comprised of 6 different components that serve to protect you from the environment, shuttle immune system cells around your body, and fight off foreign invaders. Now, these 6 components are 1. Your lymph nodes in your lymph system, which recognize and fight invading pathogens. 2. Your respiratory system, which moves mucus and contaminants upwards and outwards from your digestive tract. 3. Your skin, a relatively thin but effective barrier against invading pathogens. 4. Your white blood cells, which attack pathogens in your blood and other tissues of your body. 5. Your spleen, which is a major organ that helps protect you from bacterial infections. And 6. Your stomach and intestines. Your stomach acid kills harmful bacteria, and inside your gut reside good bacteria that help to fight pathogens and absorb nutrients. Antibodies secreted by your intestinal cells also help to fight off foreign invaders. So, now you know a good strategy for getting a strong immune system should move lymph fluid throughout your body, keep your respiratory system prepared to fight foreign invaders, limit pathogens passing through your skin, keep your white blood cells elevated, strengthen your spleen, and keep your gut in good shape. So, let's look at my 5 quick and dirty tips on how to do just that. Now, tip 1 is to increase stress, the good kind. You may have heard that stress is bad, but in reality, not all stress is actually bad for you. Mild amounts of stress, also known as hormesis, actually help your body and immune system to bounce back stronger. So what are some ways that you can stress your body throughout the day? Well, here are a few ideas. 1. Exercise. As long as you don't overdo it, lifting heavy stuff, moving, and sprinting are all great hormetic stressors. Next, cold. You learned all about how to use cold temperatures throughout the day to burn more fat in my episode, How to Use Cold Weather to Lose Weight. And I'll link to that in the show notes for this episode number 210, over at quickanddirtytips.com. Well, it turns out cold is a good hormetic stressor too. Heat. Now, I personally sit in a sauna 1 to 2 times per week for 20 to 40 minutes to stress my body and produce what are called heat shock proteins. And you can learn more about those and how they help to strengthen your immune system in a special podcast episode that I'll also put in the show notes for this episode over at quickanddirtytips.com. Next is calorie restriction and fasting. Both moderate calorie restriction as well as fasting can give you good mild stress, which is why these methods are also associated with anti-aging. And by the way, fasting doesn't mean going on a hunger strike for days. It simply means not eating for a 24-hour period, say once a month, or avoiding eating between 8 p.m. and 9 a.m. And then there's sunlight. And while a nuclear disaster probably wouldn't do your immune system any favors, mild radiation from the sun can. The sun produces healthy and balanced doses of UVA and UVB radiation, which in moderate amounts, about 30 to 60 minutes of sun exposure per day, can be great for your immune system. Now, number 2 is to get more sleep. Sleep is when your cells, nervous system, and immune system repair and recover, so if you short yourself on deep quality sleep, then you may find yourself not only tired and cranky, but also coming down with the sniffles too. Well, here are some of my top sleep hygiene best practices. First is darkness. Keep your room totally dark and avoid glaring screens like phones, e-readers, televisions, and computers. I personally use a sleep mask and keep the lights in my room very dim prior to bed. Next is silence. If you live in a loud area, then earplugs are a must. A white noise sound machine or an app on your phone can also cover up disturbing noises. Next is cold. Most people actually sleep best at about 65 to 70 degrees, so make sure your room isn't too warm. Next, activity. Don't perform intense exercise too close to bedtime, but do go out of your way to stay active throughout the day so that you're more tired when you finally hit the pillow. Food. Huge doses of carbohydrates in the evening can spike blood sugar and insulin and lower your levels of nighttime leptin, which is a hormone crucial to melatonin release. So go easy on the chocolate in the PM and consider lower sugar snacks instead, like an avocado with some olive oil and sea salt, or some raw nut butter mixed with coconut oil. Next is to de-stress. At least an hour before bed, try to stop any work-related activity like emails, phone calls, or stressful tasks, and instead read a relaxing book or listen to some soothing music. Next is nutrients. If you have difficulty sleeping, consider natural relaxants like melatonin, magnesium, or passion flower extract. And finally, morning light. A good dose of morning sunlight exposure can help to jumpstart a healthy circadian rhythm and actually help you sleep better when night finally does arrive. So now you know about good stress and you know about sleep, and next is movement. You already know that your lymph system is a component of your immune system, and one of your immune strengthening strategies that you should be doing to keep lymph flow circulating throughout your body is to move. Well, here are some ways you can do just that without necessarily hitting the gym every time you need to move. First is vibration. Now, I've written about vibration's effect on strength in a previous Get Fit Guy article on vibration platforms. But standing on a vibration platform for 5 to 15 minutes a day will also get your lymph fluid circulating, and there are small, affordable vibration platforms you can put in your own home. Trampolining. Just like vibration, jumping up and down on a trampoline or a mini trampoline can be a fantastic lymph fluid circulating activity, and frankly, more fun than simply cranking out jumping jacks. Next is yoga. Yoga is not only fantastic for de-stressing and lowering blood pressure, but it can also keep lymph fluid circulating. Now, I personally start off each day with 10 to 15 minutes of yoga and light stretching. Next is inversion. Yoga inversion poses, or hanging upside down from an inversion table, can drain your legs and get both blood and lymph fluid circulating. Next is Tai Chi. Like yoga, Tai Chi is a series of slow moves that can boost your immune system strength. Next is nature walks. The Japanese actually have a name for nature walks. They call it shinyen, or forest bathing. And getting out in the fresh air while seeing green plants and trees is a fantastic immune system boost that also strengthens your lymph system. Next is swimming. And as long as the water isn't too cold and overly stressful, yes, you can have too much cold stress, swimming is a fantastic lymph circulating activity. Next is hot-cold contrast. Here's one creative way to get lymph fluid moving. Just use the hot and cold settings on your shower to alternate between hot water and cool water. This causes your lymph vessels and blood vessels to slowly dilate and constrict, and that circulates fluid. Okay, here's number 4 for a way to strengthen your immune system. It's to boost your nutrients. Now, if you're doing a lot of travel, you're exposed to lots of people, especially sneezing kids, or you're under a load of stress, you may need nutrient support that goes above and beyond chicken soup and fresh fruits and vegetables. And while nothing should replace real nutritious food and avoidance of junk, there are a few nutrients you can throw in for added immune system support. For example, adaptogens. Adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha and ginseng and nutrient-rich mushrooms like shiitake and portobello are fantastic for your immune system and for managing stress. Essential oils, whether taken orally or diffused into the air, these have powerful antiviral and antibacterial properties. Some of my favorites are oil of oregano and another traditional blend called Thieves, which is actually a mix of clove, lemon, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary oils. Over in the show notes for this episode at quickanddirtytips.com, I'll put a link to a podcast interview that I recently did with an expert on the use of essential oils for doing things like strengthening the immune system. Next is herbs and plants, and 2 items from the produce aisle that I always have around during the cold and flu season are garlic, which has great antiviral properties, and also red onions, which are jam-packed with immune-boosting quercetin and sulfur-based antioxidants. Next is fish and cod liver oil. Well, fish oil or cod liver oil are chock full of anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, which are wonderful for your immune system. And finally, vitamin C. Vitamin C may help to reduce the duration of a cold or a flu. And while the research on that isn't conclusive, I do personally take about 2 grams of vitamin C 3 times a day if I start to come down with anything. Finally, When it comes to nutrients, be careful with foods that can spike your blood sugar, like sweet processed starches, which can weaken your immune system by creating a net acidic and inflammatory state in your body. Instead, stick to moderate amounts of healthy proteins, good amounts of healthy fats, and limited doses of carbohydrates. For even more tips, I'll put a link to one of my favorite articles on nutrients that can help to make your immune system stronger. And that's an article that appeared actually a couple of years ago over at Wellness FX, but it's got a ton of tips from natural medicine experts. And finally, tip number 5 is to get dirty. As ironic as it may seem, exposure to dirt, germs, parasites, bacteria, and viruses can actually strengthen your immune system. I'm not proposing that you rush out to find a sick person and ask them to sneeze on you, but you also shouldn't shy away from getting dirty every once in a while. And since they don't make sandboxes for adults, here's 5 ways you can get dirty. Number 1 is probiotics and fermented foods. Eat plenty of fermented foods that are rich in gut-nourishing bacteria like kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, yogurt, kefir, miso, and natto. If you find it hard to locate or consume these funny-sounding foods, at least use a good probiotic supplement. Next is prebiotics, which are fibers that serve as food for probiotics. A diet rich in vegetables is going to provide you with plenty of prebiotics. I recommend you start with things like dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, fresh carrots, parsnips, and beets, and even plant-based algae like spirulina and chlorella. Next is nature. Get out into nature for some of your workouts. Get your hands dirty. Don't be afraid to go for a run in the rain or do push-ups in the park every once in a while. Dirt is full of soil-based organisms that help to strengthen your immune system and your skin. Animals. Research has shown that kids who grow up in large families and pets tend to have stronger immune systems. And incidentally, so do kids who take fewer antibiotics. While hanging out with dogs, cats, or other pets exposes you to dirt, germs, and bacteria your immune system might otherwise never learn to deal with until it's too late. And finally, soap and antibacterials. Both soap and the slightly more deleterious antibacterial sprays, lotions, and hand wipes that have become so prevalent in the US can wipe beneficial bacteria off your skin, or worse, create the potential for medicine-resistant superbugs. So don't be afraid to just take a shower every now and again with water only. And if you have a choice between regular soap and antibacterial soap, choose the plain soap. Now, I personally plan on using as many of these natural immune-boosting techniques that you just learned about in today's episode as I possibly can this holiday season and winter to stay cold and flu-free. Well, if you have questions about anything that I just talked about, go over to facebook.com/getfitguy. That's facebook.com/getfitguy. Post your comments, post your questions, and I'd be happy to help you. And until next time, I'm Ben Greenfield, the Get Fit Guy, asking you, what are you waiting for? Go get fit.